students, welcome to the lecture on quality management. And after this lecture, we will be able to learn the following objectives. Explain the implementing a total quality management system. Understanding economics of quality value and contribution. Describe the attitude of top management. Define the difference between traditional and total quality management. Let's start with the introduction. Quality assurance provides the basic components required of a quality system. Quality assurance incorporates standards against which internal or external assessment is undertaken, together with the processes in the place to control the components of the quality system. Quality assurance systems are designed to provide assurance that a particular standard of quality has been met and maintained. With the quality management approach, continuous improvement systems are added to QA by incorporating a quality cycle of continuous improvement. Unlike QA, where the goal is to meet the specified standard, quality management is seen as an ongoing journey of continuous improvement. A quality management system is designed to provide evidence that a specified standard of quality has been met and continuously improved. It is accepted as good management practice that organizations need to establish structural supports, example, documented plans, policies, standard operating procedures to provide parameters for practice and enable them to demonstrate that those practices are sustainable. However, in determining quality, it is also acknowledged that a mechanism is needed to measure service user outcomes and the impact of service delivery in meeting service users' needs and improving quality of life. Service users have an integral role to play in monitoring the quality of services they receive, so providers have a responsibility to investigate and implement a range of mechanisms for service user feedback on levels of satisfaction and opportunities for service users to participate in the decision-making processes of the service. The focus on outcomes is a particular strength of a quality management system approach.
This is Andy. Andy has a business making orange juice. Andy's orange juice is made fresh, served cold, and is, well, orangey and juicy. So how does a business like Andy's benefit from the application of quality management? This is the handy guide to... All the way up. That's it. Quality. Like many businesses, Andy manages a process to form a product, which he sells. Obviously, it involves oranges. Andy knows his business like the back of his hand, but he thinks improvements could be made. The problem is, where to begin? So he begins with Mandy. Mandy is a quality manager, and she and Andy will be knuckling down to find out how to improve the organization. So what do we mean by quality? Here are some handy tips from Mandy. Quality isn't only about how good Andy's orange juice tastes. It's a word that applies to every system, process, and practice that delivers a product or service to a customer. Quality means delivering efficient systems and increasing profits. Meeting or even exceeding the customer's expectations. A quality professional like Mandy starts by exploring what the customer wants. Is there a difference, for instance, between what the customer wants and what the customer gets? Every customer is different, and Andy needs to keep them all sweet. 3 of Andy's customers aren't satisfied. But why? Luckily, Mandy's got some tricks, up her sleeve. Quality professionals design processes to gauge and respond to the customer's expectations. Andy's orange juice is served with juicy bits in. But Mandy discovers that 30% of his customers would actually prefer their OJ smooth. So Mandy has a solution.
This is the Juicatron 4000, the Turbo Juicer, for smooth juice or juice with juicy bits.
So, with the help of a quality professional, Andy's grown his business, kept more customers, diversified his product, and improved the production process. And he's no longer a one-man band. Let's see how they're doing. With all those thirsty customers, Andy has to keep production ticking over like clockwork. Juice output has doubled. But there's always room for improvement, and quality professionals like Mandy are constantly on the lookout. Even small changes can make a huge difference. Together, Andy and Mandy have raised productivity, satisfied the customer's needs, increased profits, and kept the workforce happy. Andy and Mandy seem to have clicked. And so Andy can now think about how to grow the business even further. The quest for quality never ends, and Mandy is ready to meet any challenge. Quality and good business go hand in hand.
Planning and implementing a continuous improvement strategy benefits from as much organizational input as possible. Involving all stakeholders is continuously improving systems and processes has significant benefits for service users and their families in terms of improved outcomes, active involvement in decision-making processes, high-quality services, staff members in terms of empowerment, gaining of knowledge, active involvement, pride in achievements, and management in terms of more efficient deployment of resources, improved service delivery, satisfaction of a job well done. Let us now discuss implementing a total quality management system. Generic model for implementing TQM. Top management learns about and decides to commit to TQM. The TQM is identified as one of the organization's strategies. The organization accesses current culture, customer satisfaction, and quality management systems. Top management identifies core values and principles to be used and communicates them. A TQM master plan is developed on the basis of steps 1, 2, and 3. The organization identifies and prioritizes customer demands and aligns products and services to meet those demands. Management maps the critical processes through which the organization meets its customers' needs. Management oversees the formation of teams for process improvement efforts. The momentum of the TQM effort is managed by the steering committee. Managers contribute individually to the effort through planning, training, coaching, or other methods. Daily process management and standardization take place. Progress is evaluated and the plan is revised as needed. Constant employee awareness and feedback on status are provided and a reward recognition process is established. 5 strategies to develop the TQM process. Strategy 1. The TQM element approach. The TQM element approach takes key business processes and or organizational units and uses the tools of TQM to foster improvements. This method was widely used in the early 1980s as companies tried to implement parts of TQM as they learned them. Strategy 2. The Guru approach. The Guru approach uses the teachings and writings of one or more of the leading quality thinkers as a guide against which to determine where the organization has deficiencies. Then, the organization makes appropriate changes to remedy those deficiencies. Strategy 3. The organization model approach. The individuals or teams visit organizations that have taken a leadership role in TQM and determine their processes and reasons for success. They then integrate these ideas with their own ideas to develop an organizational model adapted for their specific organization. Strategy 4. The Japanese Total Quality Approach. Organizations using the Japanese Total Quality Approach examine the detailed implementation techniques and strategies employed by Deming Prize winning companies and use this experience to develop a long-range master plan for in-house use. Strategy 5. The Award Criteria Approach. When using this model, an organization uses the criteria of a quality award, for example, the Deming Prize, the European Quality Award, or the Malcolm Baldrige National Quality Award to identify areas for improvement. Under this approach, TQM implementation focuses on meeting specific award criteria. Let us now discuss economics of quality value and contribution. Aspects of the economics of quality include the attitudes and approaches by management to the quality problem and some of the organizational factors which contribute to determining the optimal quality decision. That not all companies measure the costs of quality. They showed that only 5 out of the 22 companies in the final round of the 1991 Malcolm Baldrige National Quality Award calculated quality costs. Many companies treat the economic problems pertaining to quality as quality costs. Explains that this is not the way things happen in practice and management should not be concerned with these costs but should try to minimize the loss using quality management. For example, changes in what the workers were actually doing in a sub-process in a car manufacturer rendered the whole process was suboptimal. His view is that when loss prevention and the development of new business and sales, which are just two parts of a company, are well balanced, a company can maximize long-run profit. That the cost of quality concept has lost some of its popularity in recent years and nothing more comprehensive has evolved to replace it. It is also evident that senior managers may not have learned the lesson from the past. One example for this concept can be found, which features an interview with us who discusses the case of Xerox, who, despite knowing the nature of the problems that they were facing, was continuing to put forward aspects of their management policy and not address the key problem issues. Xerox lost large amounts of money during a warranty period, and when we asked 10 most frequent field failures, it was discovered that they were the same as the present most frequent field failures. Thus, Xerox were collecting information about failures but doing nothing about the problems. Cost of quality organizations have been focusing much attention on quality management. There are many different aspects of quality management, but this focuses on the cost of quality. The costs associated with quality are divided into two categories: costs due to poor quality and costs associated with improving quality. The term quality costs have different meanings to different people. Some equate quality costs with the costs of poor quality due to finding and correcting defective work. Others equate the term with the costs to attain good quality. Others use the term to mean the costs of running the quality department. Normally, quality-related costs run in the range of 10 to 30% of sales or 25 to 40% of operating expenses. Some of these costs are visible and some hidden. The cost of quality not only includes factory operation, but the support operations significantly contribute too. Most companies can avoid quality costs, but these companies do not assign clear responsibility for action to reduce them, nor do they create a structured approach for doing so. Categories of cost of quality. Internal failure costs, the costs of deficiencies discovered before delivery. We associate deficiencies or non-conformities with the failure to meet explicit requirements or implicit needs of external or internal customers. External failure costs. The costs associated with deficiencies found after product is received by the customer. These also include lost opportunities for sales revenue. Appraisal costs. The costs incurred to determine the degree of conformance to quality requirements. For example, an inspection cost is an appraisal cost. Prevention costs. The costs incurred to keep failure and appraisal costs to a minimum. For example, product design or POCUO costs are prevention costs. Let us now discuss the attitude of top management. The management of knowledge has become an important role of top management. To be successful, organizations must not only process information but also acquire and create new information and knowledge. Firms purposefully adopt structures and strategies to encourage learning. They are not totally reactive and can proactively seek to influence the environment. Firms that purposefully construct structures and strategies so as to enhance and maximize organizational learning have been termed as learning organizations. It, as an organization which facilitates the learning of all its members and continually transforms itself. A learning organization has a climate in which individual members are encouraged to learn and to develop to their full potential. It is an instilled attitude toward learning. Attitudes are learned states that influence the choice of personal action the individual makes towards persons, objects, or events. A long-term orientation of top management will have a significant effect on the intent of learning. Cooperation. The conditions to which companies are exposed today are becoming increasingly complex and the environment is becoming harsher. Small and medium-sized businesses are finding themselves less and less able to respond alone to the wide-reaching demands of the globalized market. Therefore, it makes perfect sense to enter a temporary and specific partnership with one or more other companies as exposed to facing a takeover or merger if businesses want to meet the requirements of the market without foregoing their legal autonomy. Hereafter, such partnership or cooperation between businesses will be seen as a specific form of networking as a strategic management instrument. The term business partner should be seen in a very wide sense, generally meaning all those who are actively involved in implementing measures to reach a particular goal. How is the term cooperation defined? The following three criteria have to be met if one is to speak of cooperation. Interaction. A behavior model based on action and reaction. Strategic independence of all those involved. All participating actors have a common goal. The different phases of interrelation and networking are information exchange, participation, communication, and example-based learning. Cooperation, something new is created during the alliance. Strategic alliances, long-term strategic cooperation, loyalty. Responsible in top management. It is the policy to ensure that top management is responsible, a quality policy is developed and approved, and that it includes a commitment to comply with requirements and continually improve the effectiveness of the quality management system. Customer focus. It is the policy to understand and satisfy the current and future needs of present and potential customers and to provide products that meet those needs while enhancing customer satisfaction. The top management team is responsible and has the authority for customer focus activities. Planning top management ensures that planning for quality management system is conducted to meet the requirements. Planning provides the framework for developing quality objectives to meet current and future needs of the company and customers. Responsibility, authority, and communication. Responsible authorities for each section of the quality management system are identified quality manual as well as each MSP document. The position of management representative is filled by the quality assurance manager. The position of management representative, while overlapping with many functions of the quality assurance manager, is independent of the quality assurance manager and is reportable directly to the president. Management review. It is the policy to ensure that formal management review meetings are conducted at planned intervals with documented agenda and minutes as records. The input to a management review minimally includes internal quality system audit results, customer feedback, process performance and product conformity, status of preventive and corrective actions, follow-up actions from management reviews, changes that could affect the quality management system, recommendations for improvement. The output from a management review includes decisions and actions related to improvement of the effectiveness of the quality management system and processes. Product. Improvement related to customer requirements. Resource needs. The top management team is responsible and has the authority for management review activities. Management is always evolving. For example, in the 1800s, it was common to chain children to machines. In 2011, the styles of management are far different. In the area of product quality, styles of management evolve as well. The traditional approach is to have a department responsible for quality. In total quality management, TQM, The style is for all associates to become their own quality control department. The TQM challenges traditional management. The TQM is a direct challenge to traditional management. Because it is so different, it simply cannot be add-on to traditional management, nor can it be combined with traditional management structures when a corporation is restructuring. Decision making. Differences in the traditional management model, decisions are centralized or made from the top down. This means a manager makes the decisions and the lower levels are supposed to follow. It is very much like the military. In TQM, the lower levels have a hand in making decisions. Responsibility for quality. In the traditional model, a quality control department or person assumes responsibility for the quality of the product. In the TQM model, the individual machine operator assumes responsibility for quality. In the traditional model, the quality control department spots bad products. It investigates and discovers a machine is worn out. In TQM, the machine operator herself inspects every part coming out of the machine. If all the operators inspect the product as it is being built, the entire crew becomes the quality control department. Focus. In traditional management, the focus is internalized, whereas in TQM, the focus is external. This means in traditional management, the focus is on a doing the best we can philosophy. In TQM, the focus is on the customer, who may demand more than what the company expects of itself. In TQM, the customer is the final quality control inspector. Fault finding. In traditional management, when something goes wrong with quality, the fault is usually directed at the employee. The TQM, the fault is placed on management who did not perform their duties correctly. Total quality management benefits. The following direct and indirect benefits that total quality management can offer organizations: strengthened competitive position, adaptability to changing or emerging market conditions and to environmental and other government regulations, higher productivity, enhanced market image, elimination of defects and waste, reduced costs and better cost management, higher profitability, improved customer focus and satisfaction, increased customer loyalty and retention, increased job security, improved employee morale, enhanced shareholder and stakeholder value, improved and innovative processes. Now in the end, let us summarize what we have learnt in this lecture. Planning and implementing a continuous improvement strategy benefits from as much organizational input as possible. Quality management is focused not only on product service quality but also the means to achieve it. An organizational structure consists of activities such as task allocation, coordination and supervision which are directed towards the achievement of organizational aims. A decentralized organization is one in which decision making is not confined to a few top executives but rather is throughout the organization with managers at various levels making key operating decisions relating to their sphere of responsibility. The costs associated with deficiencies found after product is received by the customer. These also include lost opportunities for sales revenue. The costs incurred to determine the degree of conformance to quality requirements.